Hey, I'm Allison, and this is Realistically Consistent, where we talk about how to build sustainable fitness, nutrition, and mindset habits that actually last even as a busy mom. I'm here to help get you consistent, not perfect, and on your way to feeling like your best self. I'm so excited to start today's episode with you. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Realistically Consistent. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Really quick before we dive in, I just want to say thank you so much to those of you who have been with me for a long time and listening to so many of these episodes, and even those of you who have left comments and reviews or even just reached out to me personally to say how much of a difference this podcast has made in your lives. I deeply, deeply, truly appreciate you so much. And if you are new here, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. If you have been listening for a while and you have not yet left a review, I cannot tell you how much it helps just get the word out there and spread this podcast to more women and moms who need to hear these messages. So again, if you are not already following or subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and just leave a really quick review so that we can help grow and spread this message. So with that, I want to talk about today's message, which is all about your environment. So this is going to be another more brief episode, but again, can really be powerful if you are able to just make these tiny little shifts in your day and in your environment, like we're going to talk about. Because I recognize that as busy moms, sometimes the difference between showing up for ourselves, doing the healthy habits, the difference between actually following through with those or versus not can sometimes be something as simple as, did you lay your clothes out the night before? Sometimes we just need a really low barrier to entry. And if the barrier to entry is even just a little bit too high, it's so much easier to neglect ourselves or neglect that habit. And so I wanted to talk today about some different things that we can do to set our environment up for success. So it might take like 2 extra seconds of your time on the front end, but it could be the difference between you actually showing up for yourself and making that healthy choice versus not. So I want to break this into 3 different categories like I normally do. And we're going to talk about fitness environment, nutrition environment, and then the mindset environment, because absolutely you can create an environment for your mindset for success. So when we're talking about your environment for fitness, I want you to answer all of these questions, okay? If you want to start working out, if you have been trying to stay consistent working out and you're struggling with that consistency piece, or even if you want to start going out for more walks more frequently, but you're struggling to get out there and actually follow through with getting more steps in or getting more walks in, I want you to answer all these questions, okay? Number one, do you start your week just thinking, okay, I'm going to work out 3 times this week? Or do you start your week by literally putting in your calendar or writing it down or knowing in the back of your mind for certain the exact days and times and what workout you're going to do during those exact days and times? Do you have those things like specifically planned out? Because that in itself right there, knowing the specifics is a barrier to entry. Because if you don't have that mapped out and you're going to say, okay, well, I'm going to work out 3 times this week, and then every time an opportunity arises, if you didn't literally picture yourself stopping what you're doing or, taking that pause in your day to follow through with that workout, if that wasn't already planned and in the back of your mind, it is so much easier to say, I still have tomorrow. I can do it tomorrow. I still have 3 more days this week. I can do it later this week, right? And so yes, you can, and that's not wrong. But doesn't it feel better to get it off of your plate? And doesn't it feel better to know that you committed to a day and a time and a specific workout that you're going to get done? So my next question to you is, if you do have all of those things planned out, okay, well, what are some other barriers to entry? Are you trying to get to the gym, but the gym is too far away, or you don't have childcare? Are you trying to do it in your home, but you have to pull out your weights, or you have to unbury your treadmill, or your weight setup got invaded by little people toys, or something along those lines where you kind of have a space but the space isn't really very usable right now. I want you to pause this episode or listen to me while you're doing it. Go make your space available right now, because I cannot tell you how many moms that I've talked with that say, I have that space, but it's kind of buried under a pile of laundry, or my kids kind of took it over, or it's just become a storage room. I understand that this is a project, but think about how grateful you will be by spending realistically 15 minutes just unburying it. Maybe it just means that you're pushing some stuff around and just moving the mess instead of taking care of it, which ideally we want to take care of it, but sometimes we don't fully have time for that. If you're just moving the mess around to create that space for yourself, giving yourself the opportunity to now go work out because you've cleared your space is going to give you more energy to go tackle the mess later on anyways, right? You got to give some to get some. So go unbury your space right now. Remove that barrier to entry and then become very clear and have a very hard boundary that this is my space to work out. I'm working out several times a week. I need this to stay unburied. Communicate it with your partner, communicate it with your kids, communicate it with yourself. Every time you want to throw laundry back in there, find another space and make sure that that space stays clear so that that is not a barrier to entry anymore. Okay. My next question is, if you are trying to wake up early or you are trying to get to this workout the second that you get home from work or right after your kids go to bed or anything like that, okay? Do you have your meals planned out? Do you have maybe some fitness clothes laid out? Because sometimes when we wake up first thing in the morning, the last thing we want to do is change again, if we don't need to, or change into, fitness clothes that are tight and whatever. If you're working out from home, I do this myself because truly getting dressed and taking that extra 2, 3, 4 minutes, because weirdly that time goes fast, to put on exercise clothes, that was a barrier to entry for me. And so now I sleep in old, loose sports bras and loose, like running shorts or biker shorts or whatever that are comfortable and still appropriate to work out in. Would I go work out in them, like in public in a gym? No, probably not. But they get the job done at my house, right? And so that is removing a barrier for entry for me. I do not change when I go to work out in the morning anymore. I work out in my PJs. And so can you work out in your PJs or can you have your fitness clothes laid out in the morning to grab with you to take to the gym and then change at the gym or change in your home and then leave for the gym? If you are working out as soon as you get home, same thing. Do you have your clothes laid out and ready to just grab? Because even that extra 30 seconds of digging through to find the workout leggings that you want and oh my gosh, they're in the laundry and I have to go dig around in this pile of laundry. Now you've wasted 5, 6, 7 extra minutes where it doesn't sound like a lot of time, but we know as busy moms, those 7 minutes mean everything. When you are trying to get home from work, get the kids situated, maybe the kids are walking in the door in 30 minutes, and then you have to start dinner and you've got sports, like we don't have a lot of extra time to sacrifice, right? We're trying to be efficient. And so imagine your clothes are already laid out for you when you get home because you did it the night before, or you did it when you were picking out your clothes to get dressed for work in the morning and you just have them laying there, right? Barrier to entry, okay? Reduce it. Again, if you are working out from home, have you communicated with people in your home that this is the time that I need to fill my cup? So if maybe you're working out first thing in the morning and your kids are still asleep, does your partner maybe know, hey, I need to finish this workout. Can you just listen if a kid wakes up and grab them? Like, do they know that they're on like lookout duty in the morning? If you are trying to work out when you get home from work, have you set up a space where maybe your kids have things to do around you while you're working out? Just because it's your you time and you are working out doesn't mean that it's unrealistic for them to watch you or be nearby. Maybe you'll get more frequent interruptions, but that's okay. I think that it's actually a really amazing thing for our kids to watch us taking care of ourselves in this way and understand that self-care goes beyond just getting your nails done or a pedicure or a massage. This is a form of self-care as well, right? And for them to be able to witness that and grow up watching that, I think is something that's really powerful too. So even that mindset flip of, do I have to be alone or can I actually do this because one, something is better than nothing. So even if I'm doing it and getting interrupted more, I'm still doing it rather than not at all, right? So having that mindset flip to make sure that you're getting those things done as well, okay? So having your clothes ready to go, wearing the kind of clothes maybe to bed that are going to help you, making sure that you know times and places and the workout itself, because again, barrier to entry here can be, I don't want to have to scroll through YouTube for 5 minutes to figure out what workout I even want to do, right? Or I don't want to have to scroll through this app for forever to figure out what workout I want to do. And that's one of the things, as a side note, that my clients love working with me, because we put the workout that they're doing on their calendar so that, yes, they can get to it at whatever point in the day makes the most sense for them. They're not waiting for me. They're not relying on me. They're not worried if I have to cancel because one of my kids or they have to cancel. It's right there in their app. They know what they're doing, how long it's going to take them. They can look at it in advance, and it's right there on their calendar for the set day that we talked about together, to make sure that it's there. And so if that's something that you need, that additional accountability, support, plan, right? That is what I do with my one-on-one clients. But you can also do it for yourself, even if you are using an app or YouTube or whatever. You can send yourself the YouTube workout the night before. So it's in your text messages, and all you have to do is pull it up or put it in a notes app or whatever. Did you pick out the workout that you're doing the night before so you know exactly what you're doing? Okay. So that's probably the last barrier to entry, to make sure that, again, you're not sitting there wasting 5 minutes trying to figure out what workout you're doing in the first place. That's something that you did during your scrolling time, because again, most of us are sitting on our phones, scrolling through Instagram, scrolling through Facebook, whatever at night. Once we're trying to wind down, can you use 5 of those scrolling minutes to pick out your workout? Probably, right? Remove your barriers to entry for fitness. Next, let's talk about your barriers to entry for nutrition and setting yourself up for success here. One of the most common things that I will see is just, what kind of food are you having in your house? What do you have available, ready to grab if you wanted to? What is in your home? Do you have a bunch of junk food in your home? Treats, candy, things like that that you don't want to grab, and you're relying on your willpower to not go grab it, but is in your house anyways? How can we get rid of those things so that you are creating an environment for success? And again, one of the most common excuses that I will hear from clients and women alike is, but I need that stuff in my house because my kids eat it, because my husband eats it, because, one specific client, and I loved that we worked through this together, is she said, well, I've got middle schoolers and our house is kind of the hangout house. All of my kids, and their friends, they come hang out. And so we just kind of have to have all this food on hand because they get hungry. Well, again, let's flip the mindset here. Your kids, your husband, your whoever, there is a limited amount that you can control. If your husband is bringing in this food and makes you keep it in the house, okay, ask him to put it somewhere or hide it somewhere so that only they are eating it and that you don't even know that it's there. That's the one piece that you can try to control there. But in a mindset flip, we're trying to teach our kids how to live a healthy lifestyle too, right? All the choices that we're making, we want to encourage them to make as well. And so there are healthy swaps. Maybe instead of chips, you do crackers and cheese, right? Maybe you lay out fruits, just have a bunch of fruits and veggies and dips chopped up instead, right? You don't have to be the junk food house. You can be the house where, hey, I've got all this food on hand. It's a little bit healthier, but in a very realistic way, it's still stuff that I know my kids are going to enjoy. Maybe they'll complain about it for the first couple days and say, no, we want the chips, we want the whatever. I'm not saying that that's not going to happen. Probably it's going to happen. But when these are their only option, they learn to enjoy the new things. And then they learn to enjoy the way that they feel when they eat the veggies and the fruit over the chips, right? And those are conversations that we can openly have with our kids as well, that are going to benefit them, and say, hey, you know what? There are no nutrients in these chips. So if you're going to have a snack, I'm going to need you to have something that supports your brain health, supports your gut health, supports your whatever, so that you feel good and you can actually go have more fun when you play. Or not have a complete energy crash after you're done playing because all of that junk food wasn't doing anything to serve you. Have those very realistic conversations and ask them, hey, how do you feel? Do you notice? Do you feel different when you eat one thing versus another thing? Let's start making some swaps. Doesn't mean that you can't ever have it again, right? And that's something to communicate too. Maybe just on the weekends we bring in a bag of chips or whatever, right? But support your whole family and support yourself by creating an environment for success. And don't use an excuse of, well, my kids just eat it. We can help teach our kids to fuel their own bodies in a way that's going to serve them better too, even if they're picky. So it's going to take time and it takes patience and it takes, again, a process of not just flipping 180 their entire lifestyle on its head in one day, because that's going to create a lot more tension. So do it slow, right? But do it intentionally and make sure that you have a plan mapped out over time so that you are creating that environment for your own success, but also for their success. Okay. So getting the junk food out of the house, number one, create an environment for success. If you do have some of those things in your house, because realistically, again, like we've got all kinds of processed stuff, right? Where do you keep them in your house? I have seen reels before of people's kitchens and they just have their cereal sitting out on the counter, Fruit Loops and all kinds of crazy processed, super high sugary foods ready to grab at any time. Like it lives on their counter. Okay. So I'm not saying even that you have to get rid of it all, but maybe is there somewhere that you could put it where you're not finding yourself constantly reaching for it? Okay. So again, trying to create that environment for success. Even as the holidays are coming up and you've got tons of Christmas cookies, like, do you have a plate of them set out on the counter to grab one every time you walk by? Or do you have it in a Tupperware container stashed in a cabinet or maybe in your garage to stay cool or something along those lines where it's not so easy to just grab one every time you walk by? Same goes for really any holiday where you have, sweets and treats and things like that sitting out. Do you have a bowl of candy sitting out for you to grab one every time you walk by, or do you keep your candy in a closet somewhere? Create an environment for success. Do you sit down once a week and plan out your grocery list? Plan out all the meals that you want to make. What do I need for it? And go get those groceries in one trip? Or are you flying by the seat of your pants and deciding what to make for dinner every single night, mentally exhausting yourself by just trying to think of what you're going to have? And two, trying to think of, okay, well, do I even have the ingredients at home? No, I got to go to the grocery store again, spending more time, spending more money, spending more energy. Create an environment for success. Sit down one time a week, map out all your meals, map out the grocery list for it, and bring the groceries home. Do you then make sure that what you need to have ready to go of those groceries is actually going to be ready for you? For example, how many times have we bought all the fruits and all the vegetables and chicken and all these things with the intent to eat really well this week? But then every time we go to grab the snack, oh, you know what? I'm going to have some carrots and hummus right now. Oh my gosh, I don't have a lot of time. Oh, shoot, I forgot to cut up the carrots. I forgot to chop the celery. I forgot to grab the cucumbers. I don't have time for this. I'm going to grab something else. How much extra time would it have taken you while you're already unpacking all the groceries to chop the carrots or celery or fruit or whatever so that you have it in a container, in a bag for you to grab? Right? Create an environment for success. Okay. Last piece that I want to talk about is just your mindset. Are you creating an environment for success for your mind? What you fill your mind with on a daily basis has a greater impact than you might even realize. What kind of music are you listening to in the morning? What kind of podcasts or audiobooks are you listening to on your drive into work? What kind of books are you reading? What kind of TV shows are you watching before you go to bed at night? Are they ones that give you kind of crummy, low feeling? Are they sad? Or are they uplifting? Are they happy? Do they spark joy? Do they spark fear? Do they spark doubt, questioning, spirals? Or do they spark questions in the upward spiral type where you're thinking, man, maybe I should be questioning the way I'm living a little bit. And maybe I should be making some changes for the better. If you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to say you're making one of the better choices, right? which is great. So hopefully these podcasts are helping you think about how we can make some really realistic small changes to create an environment for success. Are you listening? Like I said, going back to the music, there is a very set playlist that I will listen to that I know is going to amp me up if I'm in a bad mood. Do you have a playlist like that? How often are you choosing to listen to it? If you're in a bad mood, do you flip on a playlist to just wallow in your bad mood, or do you flip on a playlist to try and get out of it? Help support your mindset with that environment, right? In coming back to the shows, before you go to bed, you're about to put your brain in a theta state where it's just going to continue on this energy that you went to sleep with. So are you watching some show that was just like setting your nervous system on fire right before you went to bed? Were you watching just a silly uplifting show? Were you watching trash TV, watching other people just like tear each other down? What kind of show you're watching? And I want to be really clear here. None of this is to say to never listen to a true crime podcast, never listen to a sad audiobook. I'm not saying that at all. There are times and places and things, parts of those that we enjoy and that also get us thinking. But it's always very important to pay attention to your energy and where you're at and listen to what your mind and your body needs, right? There are times of the year, the month, the day where we can handle some of those more intense kind of shows, podcasts, whatever. And then maybe there are times of the day where it's like, you know what? I really need to be more mindful of what I'm feeding my brain with today because I'm already in a kind of unstable state. Or you're really trying hard to motivate yourself to get yourself into doing some of these habits. And you know that all the positive things is kind of what you need to just overload your system with right now. Okay. So ask yourself all of those questions are the things that you're feeding your mind with. And that's not even to mention social media. If you're scrolling social media, what's popping up on your feed? Is it positive stuff or is it stuff that's like dragging you down into a downward spiral? People who are having their own self-pity parties and trying to drag you down with them. Okay. Is it time for you to also comb through your social media and maybe follow some accounts that are uplifting and unfollow some accounts that just don't make you feel good? So with that, I'd love your feedback. I would love to hear from you and how this resonated with you. If you are watching on YouTube, leave me a comment. And like I said, too, any review, follow, subscription just helps this podcast more than you know. So thank you again for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to Realistically Consistent. If today's episode helped you, please hit subscribe and leave a quick rating as it helps more moms find the show. You can visit AllisonHaleyFitness.com for more tools, tips, and ways to stay connected. And just as a quick reminder, I'm here to share general information and encouragement, but this podcast isn't meant to replace professional medical or health advice. Everyone's circumstances are different, so be sure to check in with your trusted healthcare provider before making any big changes. Thanks again for being here, and until next time, keep showing up for yourself one realistic step at a time.